Alright, I'm going second. That's a plus on this deck. So now we wait. Looks like we got a Destiny hero. Yep. Strange that he would have all those, but... Going straight for the polymerization, really? And the mass change, really? Careful now, you don't want to use all your resources right away. Alright, because this can happen. Special summon, normal summon. Get a load of my Vylon. Now I'm not activating that effect just on the simple fact that it cost me 500 life points, and I don't really need it because I have the equipped spell. So, target him. Bye-bye, Anki. Yes, I will activate that. Hold this one. Going to activate. Opponent surrendered. You used all your resources before you even saw what I had. That's your problem. Alright. So, wanted to show you guys this deck. This deck is a lot of fun to play. If you saw what it showed that I was going to lose, because those two decks I was actually using Destiny Hero, not the deck that I was using. This deck is a crap ton of a lot of fun to play, just on the simple fact that you get a lot of those OTKs and wins and stuff like that, but look at all of these ends. This is an extremely cheap deck to build. These are just used for having the level 5s, because your primary goal here is the Vylon Epsilon. When he gets equipped with any one of these equipped spell cards, he becomes extremely powerful. Now this card is actually broken at the time being because trap effects still will target your Vylon Epsilon. But it's still a lot of fun to play because you can still try and get around traps by using the filament, just on the simple fact that this basically turns your Vylon into the Ancient Gears to where they cannot activate spells, traps, or monster effects when you actually enter your battle phase. This one is actually supposed to protect your Vylon against any monster effects and or trap effects, but the trap effects side of things are broken. The Vylon component, this one's in there primarily to use for either if they're throwing a lot of defensive position monsters out there, or the winged Karibos, you can still inflict piercing damage as opposed to them just completely negating all of the damage. The Vylon material gives you your extra 600 attack, and you can see there's 3 of them. You can actually boost this up to over, just 2 of these will get you to 4,000. So it swings much larger than any of the other cards. As you can see, Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon only has 3,000. And even if he's using Beatdown, if that's the only one, it's 3,300. Even if he has 3, at 300 a pop, that's still 3,900. So you can still swing over these Reactor Dragons, which is nice. It's very nice. I'm playing Treacherous Trap Hole. I don't particularly like this card, just on the simple fact because I think it's kind of a little too overpowered in this game. but that's nor here nor there. But it's a good trap card because you can see I'm not running that many traps. Hage True Nade just to try and help with that OTK there, because if you pop a couple of these to get yourself to 4,000, you can pop the Hage True Nade if you got it. Now these are your core cards. They're the tuners. The Vylon Cube is preferred over the Stella, just on the simple fact that when he's used as a synchro summon, you can pull an equipped card from your deck to your hand, so you can pull any one of these cards and put it into your hand, which is extremely helpful. Stella is not bad. It's still a good tuner, but it costs 500 life points, and then it equips to Vylon, so you can use it, as you saw in the duel earlier. You activate his effect, and you can actually target one of your opponent's monsters and destroy him. With that, you can do that with the equip spells as well, but when these get sent, when they're face up on the field and sent to the graveyard, you can add another equip spell from your deck to your hand. So you can see where the synergy behind this is just phenomenal, because you can just constantly be pulling more equip cards back to your hand from your deck, and that's what you saw because in the duel earlier, because he used all of his resources and he should have waited. But then you're using Labyrinth Builder. The reason for using Labyrinth Builder is because you get a level 5 monster out on your side of the field as long as you shuffle 2 cards from your hand to your deck. So that can be extremely helpful in the simple fact of, you get your level 5 out there. That's why you have these as well, because it's tricky. You can discard a card, special summon him to where you can still summon your tuner monsters. It's the same reason why I have Earth Armor Ninja. The only reason for having him is not for attack, but his special, to where you can special summon him if your opponent controls a monster. Now this deck works a whole lot better when you going second as opposed to first, but you can still win going first, but it's a little bit more tricky because you can either play offensively like he did, which summoned all of his resources, but then you leave yourself open with no protection, because this does not have, the only back row destruction that we have is Storm, which with Storm, you destroy your own equip spells when they're equipped, and then you can destroy their back row, which is actually very nice, because then you destroy your 2 equip cards, and you get 2 from your deck back to your hand. See, that's where the synergy in this deck is just a whole lot of fun to play. If this was not broken, it would definitely be way overpowered in my opinion, but with it, with trap effects still being there, it's still a lot of fun to play. It still gives extremely high win rates, like I would say at least 90% if you're going second, probably 70 to 80% if you're going first, but it's still a lot of fun to play. I do recommend it. The Vylon Epsilon is by far the most important. These others are not needed. Like Blackwing Dragon, it's thrown in there just because. Stardust Dragon, again, it's just thrown in there just because. And same with the Light Gazer. So these cards are not by any means required. If you do have Stardust Dragon, I would throw him in here, because Stardust Dragon is actually a very good counter to the Ubel decks. Because if Ubel's effect activates, you can actually banish Stardust Dragon and destroy the monster, which is actually very handy, because then you get, on your next turn, he comes right back from the grave. Most people don't use Stardust Dragon for that purpose, but I actually was going up against a Ubel deck, and I lost just on the simple fact that I had a deck out. He did not beat me, but I summoned Stardust Dragon. So I wish I had that replay, because it was a lot of fun to play, and it was great. It was a great duel. Even though I lost, it was a lot of fun to play. So I do recommend this deck to anyone. This deck is actually really easy to get, really cheap to build. Most of these cards come from the Power of Bravery, and I think there was 2 boxes that these came from. Crusaders and Battleground. So these are the 2 boxes that you're primarily getting everything out of. Power of Bravery. Power of Bravery, that's where those come from. But as you can see, it's pretty easy pretty cheap. You know, how many fun decks can you play in Platinum that have this many R's and N's? So I hope you guys like this. I hope you enjoy this. Try this deck out if you got the cards. It's a lot of fun. Try and build it yourself. Like I said, this deck is just a whole lot of fun to play. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. There will be more Duel Links content coming your way. So have fun and duel on.